We recently created the Danger Zone line, or rather Action Lab did, and I have been publishing books for a number of years myself. Joined up with Action Lab to head up the new imprint. And we've got, it's all create our own books, just like on the Action Lab side. Difference being that they're not intended for all ages, so it's anything that's above PG-13 in content.
But, we blacked out the naughty bits too on the slides, so don't worry about it. We'll get there.
It straddles any and all genres, and it's really exciting arena for any number of types.
Well, and Jason and I have been kind of running the same circles for years, and I think back in 2005, I was self-publishing, like pretty much everyone at Action Lab, and Jason, I would always look across the aisle, and he was there, and he always had his shit together. He always knew what he was doing, and I was like, man, I really want to work for that guy. So when I started making graphic novels, I went over and worked with Jason at Superhero Graphics, put out a graphic novel, and we reprinted one of my old ones. And as soon as I possibly could, we're going to get into a couple of slides of books that are coming out now that I've known about for like 5-6 years, and I was just always waiting for the time that I could bring them out. So when we created the Danger Zone line, Jason was the first person I called, and I just said, "You're running this thing, man." And so all the super real stuff's been brought over. Actually, Danger Zone's the label, and we'll hit the ground running here.
People kept telling us that you guys make such good comics for kids and things like that, and we're like, okay, well that's great. We really enjoy making stuff for kids, but again, we don't want to be kind of typecast as a comics company that's only stuff for young readers. So.
Yeah, it was really tough because the book that we published right after Princeless was my book Double Jumpers. And it was completely strategic. I'm like, I want something that's completely the opposite of Princeless, just to show people that's not what we're really about. But then, one book you get really, really well known for that one book, and then you've got a bunch of hit jokes over here, and nary the two do cross, nor do you want them confused. So the Danger Zone was really essential, especially when we were bringing in other licensed properties, to not have people be confused by what we were doing. But anyway, go ahead, Jason. You want to talk about wave one of Danger Zone?
Yeah, the Danger Zone launched. Danger Zone launched in May, and first wave of titles we have M Theory, which really straddles a lot of genres in one book. It's ultimately a fantasy tale about a young man who wakes up dead with his recently acquired kitten that can now talk, and they go on an adventure to figure out what's happened to him and get put on a quest. It really takes the readers for a ride. Ghost Town, which is a book that Dave co-created. And it's an action drama that features a time device that's stolen by domestic terrorists and weaponized. They threaten to send the bomb through time to key U.S. cities if the government doesn't cave to their demands. The Final Plague, which is a horror title, and it's similar to a zombie tale, except in this book there's a viral outbreak, and it affects the animal population instead of humans. And the artist on that, Tony Baraldi Brown, works in a real fine art style, so it's unique in its look, and it suits the book really well for the horror elements, and he really has a way of depicting the animals, and it brings the book to life. And then there's Night of the 80s Undead, which is a book that I created, and working with an artist, Bill McKay, on that. And it's just a fun send-up of the 1980s and horror movies of that era. It's a Russian zombie virus contaminated Colombian cocaine supply that's unleashed on a big Hollywood party in 1986.
It's like the worst coke party ever. It's pretty amazing.
There's a group of teens, a la John Hughes movies, that break into the party looking for a good time and end up having to survive the Tommy Coke zombie carnage. So it's fun times.
That's my new band name.
No limits.
So it's a modern day retelling band, is what you're saying?
There are animals in it, but they're not. There's Spuds MacKenzie and things of that nature. Maybe a donkey. No.
All right. So next on our list is a book that's near and dear to Jason and my heart. It's called Low Plushy Gangsta, and we got this submission at San Diego last year, and it's an import from two Russian game designers, and it came in If you can imagine like Russians, you know how we do Russian dialogue and it's horribly cheesy and fun, but like not accurate. These guys are doing like California Gangsta Thud, and they're like Russian, and it's amazingly awesome. But if you look at the art, I mean, it is freaking fabulous. Yeah, a lot of fun. Jason, you want to talk a little bit more?
Yeah,
we read it to each other like in our hotel room
we
last
couldn't stop
year.
grinning from ear to ear just as soon as he opened the submission. And obviously talented, but yeah, it's pretty much like Scarface if he was a teddy bear, and the rival gang bosses were like big bosses in video games. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, it's great. Next, we're going to let the insanity continue with Itty Bitty Bunnies.
Oh, and I should mention real quick, we switched over to upcoming titles here. So these are books that are coming out starting next year, and some of them will be coming out in digital first. Yeah. Cool. Including Itty Bitty Bunnies and Rainbow Pixie Candyland. And as you see,
this is the best. This is the best.
I have stocked this slide a little bit to keep it all ages. Dean is a cartoonist out of Australia that works for Bongo and Mad Australia and I think it's Vino, a comedy book out of the UK. But this is his first comic where he's just letting loose, and I assume drawing everything that he can't in the other books and in every panel.
Well, what's great about this book, I don't know if you guys know about panels, but it has to be. If it's on the screen, it's got to be all age appropriate. So you'll notice all these little black bars because as I was putting the slide together, I noticed everything had a penis. And I was like, so I had to black everything out, and it took me a half an hour because I kept noticing more penises on the page. I'm like, when's it gonna stop? But it's hilarious, unexpected, definitely subversive, right? I mean, if you like those little like fabulous Freddy Freak comics, and if you think that you need an R-rated version of Ren and Stimpy or The Simpsons, this is it.
Adventure Time meets Ren and Stimpy by way of underground comics.
Steven Seagal shows up. I mean, it's brilliant. It's so good. Wait, hold on a second. I got a little introduction before I go to the next slide. So it seems like everything I'm saying is last year we were doing this and now this year we're doing it all. Jason we hang out a lot, Jason Martin and I, and we were at Denny's at like 3 in the morning and he started spouting all these crazy brilliant bits of dialogue and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, DFP, man, DFP. And it made me stay in Fraser Park. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. So he said, you gotta rent DFP. And so I bought it sight unseen and went home, had a bottle of wine and watched it and just thought, holy shit, this is brilliant. And you dog ear, I want to work with those guys. Eventually that's going to happen. And I had a couple projects that I was going to try and get this guy on. And then I got an email from Mark Colton, who works on Hawkman and has worked with Rob Liefeld and stuff. And we've been having a dialogue for the better part of 3 months. And then he brought this guy up, and I'm like, well, yeah, duh, of course. So I want to introduce you guys if you don't know him. He's the star, writer, and co-director of the FP, but also this project, All Superheroes Must Die. It's Jason Schrost. You want to get up here, buddy? And then Gavin Smith Oh, you see it. Oh, you stand there.
You want me to stand in the podium?
Yeah, you're...
All right.
You would like the governor seat. You might as well just sit down.
We'll make a
2030. Yo! In the year 1997, LA will become a prison. Alright, so I guess we're doing a comic book. That's what it looks like up there, right? Usually this is the point where I get moderated, somebody asks me a question and I answer it, but instead I guess I'm just freestyling about this. But Gavin and I are going to draw this comic book for All Superheroes Must Die, which has been something I've been working on for 3 years, I guess, since I was 23 years old. And it's a very well/terribly received film. And hopefully we can do better with the comic.
Well, do you want to talk a little bit about the story in the movie? The heroes wake up in
Yeah, essentially it's four superheroes that wake up in an abandoned town, they're sapped of all their powers, and their arch nemesis has, surprise, surprise, kidnapped them and says, now I'm going to kill all of you, you must survive the night, classic just Running Man Saw stuff. And, there's lots of relationships and this and that and everything. There's kind of a vague backstory, which now we get to go through in the comic series, so I'm pretty excited about that.
We were talking earlier today about it, and the brilliance of comic books is you get to tell the stories that you want to tell with infinite budget, right? So there's going to be a lot more power.
Yeah, I mean, there's no secret. The reason we took their powers away is we had $20,000 to make the movie, so it's like, well, that's all right, Lucas, you want to make a superhero movie? The first thing that goes into the powers. So now in the comic, we can have powers and explain why we don't have them in the movie.
Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about where you came from, what you've been up to, and where you're going, buddy?
Yeah, sure thing.
Social security number?
Right. Well, my mother's maiden name is
123 Fake Street.
Yeah. So I'm a 2011 graduate of the Joe Kubert School. After that, I kind of got into self-publishing my own book, Human City. Got hired by these gentlemen over here to do a little book called The Accelerators. Been working on that for a while. Jason and I have known each other. This is the first time we met, was the other day.
The first time I've actually met in person. We've been speaking over email for years.
Oh, years.
You internet friends are so cute.
Yeah.
I knew his sister first. I was her warden on Project Runaway.
The best thing, my sister had 2 weeks to make the costumes for All Superheroes Must Die, and she left before they were finished, and her warden, who basically takes away, her cell phone and her money and all that, was Gavin, and he was handling her, but drawing comics inside. And so while we were filming All Superheroes Must Die, Gavin had imprisoned her. And
It's like Stockholm Syndrome, reverse engineering.
Yeah. Anyway, now we're
Totally that way, because after she got back home from Project Runway, she was talking to me about this movie. I think she sent me a copy, or you sent me a copy of it.
Someone sent
and
it.
I was like, I want to do a poster for this. And this was originally a poster for this.
Yeah, this was just a spec poster, and then Image was like, no, we want that Photoshop thing with the skyscrapers and the helicopter in the film. So that's what happened.
It's gorgeous, though.
It looks great. You should see the Australian poster. Apparently, I have blue fire powers and we can fly. Yeah.
So,
Things are different down under.
Opposite.
some Jurassic Park stuff going on behind us.
Yeah, no, I don't know what the hell is it.
I have no idea.
That's awesome. Pee over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, and I'm such a nerd, I brought my Blu-ray of the FP for the sign, so after we're done talking, get it signed. But go and watch this at the end and look for J Tro to pop up.
Keep your eyes open and do not blink, or else you will miss me.
He's slightly overshadowed by Channing Tatum in the
See, it's kind of weird in the movie because in that scene there were a lot more, and excuse the language, but there are a lot more butt-fucking jokes in that scene about Channing Tatum. So I assumed because nothing was really going on, I was like, oh, okay, so we're homosexual cannibals, so I'm gonna try to make gay gestures towards Seth Rogen's ear. And now the movie just comes out, I was like, this guy's a psychopath. And there it was.
I think it's pretty apt though for the scene for sure. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I mean, really honestly, for me, I can't really talk about the project that I wanted. We talked about it earlier. And
Oh, boy, did we.
It would have been a cool dream project to do, and I'm still fighting for the rights for it. But we'll see what happens. And
It'll happen.
I'm definitely excited for this.
It's being brought to you.
And if you don't know J Tro, you can check it out. The FP is on Netflix Instant, and All Superheroes Must Die just released. So you can rent it.
Redbox is on it. Netflix not streaming, but the disc one that nobody has. It's on that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, along with pushing kind of boundaries in print comic, there is a line of digital first books that we're putting out. This is, I feel a connection right now. Take away his cell phone and his keys.
We're shooting a reality show, right?
So we're launching a digital first line for some titles that We really want to bring out the growing market comicsology. We're going to be moving into guided view. We've been talking with them about doing a lot of quasi-animated comic books. And Jason, you want to take away on Scum of the Earth? I think you'll like this one.
Well, yeah, Scum of the Earth is pretty much natural-born killers with a twist. Where suddenly it's Terminator. So it's just a really fun book, as you can see on the mature side. That's the Danger Zone. So if you want to see Mickey and Mallory type adventures and a sci-fi style, Scum of the Earth is your ticket.
Yeah, I fell in love with this book because, again, it's one of those things that, we get a lot of submissions, and this one was completely unexpected. And, I mean, just look at it.
It's inspired and well executed. It's a fun book.
Next digital release is Crimson Society. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and that's another book. These are books that are upcoming. This is one that we just signed recently. It was a book done via Kickstarter, and it's got gorgeous artwork. It's basically your traditional monster archetypes, but in a near future, it's sci-fi setting. So it's taking all those things you're familiar with, like vampires, etc., and putting them in new situations. The lead character is a vampire that goes for a procedure to get possibly turned human, and then goes to an evil doctor that augments him even further. So.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add about the digital first launch, we did launch simultaneously. We did a guided review for Molly Danger and Vanquist that premiered on Wednesday. So if you want to see what we're going to be doing with that technology, check it out. I mean, it's widescreen, big bang fun with comics. That's great stuff.
And I'll just add,
It's literally the future of comics.
There it is.
well, real quick, I said he's a vampire, but he's obviously a werewolf. My bad.
So, one last thing I want to add. We've been growing as a company, and we launched all of our monthly books at $3.99. We've since lowered to $2.99. We want to make comics affordable. We want to make them as dynamic as possible, but we understand that everyone's on a budget, and we want you to be able to read more. So we dropped all of our standard comics to $2.99. And I'm just going to open up the floor to your questions. If you have any questions about Action Lab, Prince Lewis, Molly, anything at all, filmmaking, with Jay Trosserman.
I got questions.
You have questions about it? I answer. Does anyone have any questions? I think there's a mic. I don't know if it's wired, but if you speak up.
If somebody doesn't volunteer, I'm going to volunteer you.
Oh, there's
Pointing at people in the crowd before she asks a question. Don't make us do that.
Bueller? Anyone?
there's a slide that's missing.
Is there a secret book?
I put the slideshow together, and as I was going through it, I was like, holy shit, I have a slide for it.
Just re-announce where I'm drawing the
Put on the Jeopardy music while we
Yeah, I lost a slide.
Yeah.
Thank you, though. Yeah, I ran through it yesterday, and I had that. Harry, close your eyes for a little bit. All right?
Like, close your eyes and pretend.
Yeah, read this.
Hey, Zombie Turner. Super safe for best for last. Zombie Tramp is the title, and the art says it all. You love it or you don't. And it's really that simple. But it's a cartoon grindhouse. It's a high-priced Hollywood call girl gets bitten by a zombie. She goes out to seek revenge. But yeah, it's a great book. I published it previously. It's sold out. And we're re-releasing the first volume through Danger Zone. That comes out next month. And then 2 months later, we release the sequel series, Volume 2 and Simples.
I do have one other thing to talk about.
before we go, which is on the Molly Danger front. Next Sunday, I will be sitting in a recording studio recording a Molly Danger radio show. It will be available on iTunes through the Audio Comics Company.
Are you Molly? Or
No, I am not. I might narrow it. I don't know. I haven't decided. But,
you have built the tennis courts.
and a face for radio.
Meanwhile,
YOLO.
Now, before everyone goes, we do have one thing that we want to. Oh, was there a hand up? Someone have a question?
Yeah, we gotta ask a question. Come on.
I just gonna ask a question.
Oh, see, another hand.
The pamphlets, I know that you have the plush line to go along with the comic books.
Yeah.
Some of the other comic books that are represented, do you guys also do other platforms as well, like the action figures or anything else to go with those?
yeah, we're
They're
talking
working
about
on
developing a plush for Sparky the Dragon for Princeless.
Itty bitty money, this is kind of springs out.
I would really love a Bo plushie gangster, but the book's not out yet, so we'll see what happens.
There will be well, this is a very prototype, but there will be a fishback plush probably next year. I have a prototyper who lives in the house with me, who's also currently prototyping the, okay, what's the dragon's name again? Help me. Sparky's being prototyped. And the garlics, since I didn't say anything when I was talking about the book, it's online at the Garlics. That's with a ICKS, the Garlics stuff.
Right, and you can find the pamphlets at pamphlets.com. All of the books at actionlinecomics.com. Obviously, you can go to Comixology for all your downloads, but we'd love for you to go to your local comic shop, support the retailers.
I think we got a
Real
question.
quick, we got a couple of questions out there.
Sure.
Do you have any plan on making the comic?
Yeah, that's my turn.
That actually might largely depend on the success of this comic, but absolutely.
Yeah.
We haven't not been.
Actually, we've been talking about that more than this one, but we're not doing it yet.
And did you still have a question, sir?
Can I get a digitally?
Yeah.
So before everybody goes then, I know we're running out of time here, we do have a couple of things to give everybody. We have, and Jason would be my model if you like, so we have a digital download for one of our issues. That's the first issue of Pirate Eye that we're going to give everybody, so you can download that for free. And we also have an NFL Rush Zone. I know we didn't talk about NFL Rush Zone, but we have an NFL Rush Zone button for everybody. Not only is it a cool button in and of itself, but if you bring